From bold bets on companies like Apple and Twitter to navigating power struggles in Saudi Arabia, his journey is anything but ordinary. But who really is this man? Born on March 7th, 1955 in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, into the influential House of Saud, his lineage is distinguished as he is the grandson of King Abdulaziz, the founder of modern Saudi Arabia, and Riyad al-Sol, the first Prime Minister of Lebanon. This unique heritage placed him at the intersection of two powerful political and cultural families. Al-Waleed's father, Prince Talal bin Abdulaziz, was a progressive figure in Saudi Arabia, advocating for political reforms and modernization efforts within the kingdom. His mother, Mona al-Sol, came from Lebanon's prominent al-Sol family, which played a crucial role in shaping modern Lebanon. However, Al-Waleed's early years were marked by instability. His parents separated when he was 7 years old, leading to him spending much of his childhood between Saudi Arabia and Lebanon. Growing up in a household of political and financial prominence, Al-Waleed displayed an independent spirit from an early age. He had a rebellious streak and was known to test boundaries. As a child, he often ran away from home for a day or two, finding shelter in unlocked cars rather than returning immediately. This streak of independence foreshadowed his later determination to build his own success. For his early education, Al-Waleed attended the King Abdulaziz Military Academy in Riyadh. The academy, known for its rigorous training and discipline, helped shape his resilience and discipline. However, his education was soon interrupted when he moved to Lebanon to continue his schooling. He enrolled in Shofat School and later attended Manor School. Despite the frequent shifts in his environment, Al-Waleed adapted quickly, displaying a keen interest in leadership and business. His exposure to different cultures during his childhood years broadened his perspective, preparing him for the global business world he would later navigate. Lebanon in the 1960s and 1970s was a vibrant hub of commerce, banking, and media, and growing up there gave Al-Waleed first-hand insight into economic and political affairs. However, the Lebanese Civil War that began in 1975 forced many families, including his own, to reassess their futures. Seeking further education, Al-Waleed traveled to the United States, where he enrolled at Menlo College in California. The transition to American academia was a turning point in his life. At Menlo, he studied business administration, gaining knowledge in finance, management, and investment strategies. Unlike you, he completed his degree in just 2.5 years, demonstrating his dedication and drive. Eager to expand his expertise, Al-Waleed pursued a master's degree at the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs at Syracuse University. There, he earned a degree in social science, finishing the program in only 11 months and graduating with honors. His education at Syracuse provided him with a deeper understanding of global economics, political structures, and social dynamics, which were all tools that would later prove invaluable in his business ventures. After completing his studies, Al-Waleed returned to Saudi Arabia in the late 1970s, a time when the country was experiencing an oil boom. Armed with a $30,000 loan from his father and $300,000 loan from the Saudi bank, he embarked on his entrepreneurial journey by founding Kingdom Establishment, the company that would later evolve into Kingdom Holding Company. His early ventures centered around construction and real estate, two industries thriving due to Saudi Arabia's rapid urbanization. Recognizing an opportunity in the booming property market, Al-Waleed strategically acquired undervalued real estate assets, renovated them, and sold them for substantial profits. This hands-on approach allowed him to quickly amass capital and gain a reputation as a sharp investor with a keen eye for lucrative deals. However, his true breakthrough came in the banking sector. In 1986, he made a bold move by acquiring the underperforming United Saudi Commercial Bank, or USCB for short. At the time, USCB was struggling with inefficiencies and financial instability, but Al-Waleed saw potential where others saw failure. Through a combination of aggressive restructuring, modernized banking operations, and strategic financial policies, he turned the struggling institution into a profitable venture. This was a pivotal moment in his career, as it demonstrated his ability to revive failing businesses and position them for long-term success. Building on the success, he initiated the first major bank merger in Saudi Arabia by combining USCB with Saudi Cairo Bank to create United Saudi Bank. This move not only strengthened the newly formed entity, but also set a precedent for financial consolidations in the region. The final milestone in his banking empire came in 1999, when USB merged with the Saudi American Bank, or SAMBA, solidifying Al-Waleed's influence in the financial sector and marking him as a major force in the region's economic transformation. Following his success in banking, Waleed turned his attention to retail, recognizing the sector's potential in a rapidly growing economy. He acquired a controlling stake in Al Aziz Panda, a well-known supermarket chain, and later merged it with the Savola Group, one of Saudi Arabia's largest food and consumer goods companies. This strategic consolidation expanded his influence in the retail sector and reinforced his ability to create synergies through mergers. By the late 1980s, Waleed's investment philosophy had evolved beyond Saudi Arabia. He sought international opportunities, targeting struggling yet reputable brands with strong fundamentals. His meticulous research and patience in waiting for the right investment opportunities became defining characteristics of his strategy. In 1991, he made a career-defining investment in Citicorp, later Citigroup. At the time, Citibank was on the brink of collapse due to financial turmoil caused by real estate credit losses and exposure to Latin American debt. The U.S. savings and loan crisis had shaken investor confidence, and Citibank was grappling with declining stock value and mounting bad loans. Many saw it as a lost cause, but Waleed saw a golden opportunity. With a $590 million investment, he effectively rescued Citibank, providing the liquidity it needed to stabilize its operations. His move was not a reckless gamble, unlike how many people saw it. It was, however, a calculated decision based on extensive financial analysis and an understanding of long-term banking cycles. He ensured that his investment came with conditions that allowed him to influence the bank's restructuring and decision-making. As Citibank recovered, its stock value soared, turning what was initially perceived as a high-risk bet into one of the most lucrative financial moves of the decade. His stake eventually grew to be worth billions, further attesting his status as an intelligent global investor and a visionary capable of recognizing value where others saw distress. Building on his financial success, Waleed expanded into luxury hospitality, recognizing the long-term value of high-end tourism and real estate. In the 1990s, he strategically acquired stakes in some of the world's most prestigious hotel chains, including Four Seasons, Fairmont, and Movenpick. His investments were not passive. He worked closely with management teams to enhance branding, improve service quality, and elevate these chains to new heights. One of his most notable acquisitions came in 1996, where he purchased the historic George V Hotel in Paris for $185 million. Instead of merely holding onto the asset, he invested an additional $120 million into renovations, transforming the hotel into one of the most luxurious and sought-after destinations in the world. Over the years, his hospitality portfolio expanded further, encompassing iconic properties such as the Savoy in London and the Plaza in New York. His involvement in the Four Seasons brand further solidified his presence in the industry, as he worked alongside other investors to elevate its reputation as the pinnacle of luxury hospitality worldwide. Waleed's real estate ambitions were not limited to luxury hotels. He envisioned large-scale developments that would symbolize progress and economic strength. His most ambitious project was the Kingdom Tower in Jeddah, later renamed Jeddah Tower. Designed to be the tallest building in the world, the project was a statement of Saudi Arabia's modernization efforts and economic diversification beyond just oil. More than just a skyscraper, the tower represented Waleed's vision for the future, a landmark that would put Saudi Arabia on the global architectural map, much like how the Burj Khalifa defined Dubai's skyline. Beyond Jeddah Tower, his real estate empire spanned high-end residential and commercial developments across the Middle East and beyond. Unlike many investors focused on short-term gains, he prioritized long-term value, acquiring properties that would appreciate over decades rather than years. Waleed's expansion did not stop at banking and hospitality. Recognizing the growing power of global media, he ventured into the entertainment and technology sectors. In the mid-1990s, he acquired a significant stake in News Corporation, the media conglomerate owned by Rupert Murdoch. This investment placed him at the center of the international media landscape, giving him access to some of the most influential figures in journalism and entertainment. He continued to build his media empire by acquiring stakes in Time Warner, 21st Century Fox, and AOL. Understanding the shift toward digital media, he positioned himself in the early tech industry by purchasing a 5% stake in Apple in 1997, making him its largest shareholder at the time. His foresight in the tech space extended to investments in Twitter and Snapchat, recognizing the power of social media in shaping global conversations. In 2011, he made headlines again with a $300 million investment in Twitter, acquiring more than a 3% share in the company. By the early 2000s, Waleed's empire had expanded across multiple industries and continents. His investment philosophy was simple but effective: buy struggling companies with strong fundamentals, implement strategic reforms, and unlock their full potential. Through Kingdom Holding Company, he built a diversified global portfolio spanning finance, real estate, media, technology, and retail. By now, you should have an idea of how much wealth Prince Waleed bin Talal has been able to create, but let's take a look at a few. Waleed lives in luxury. He owns 3 grand palaces, each designed with extreme attention to detail. His main home, Kingdom Palace in Riyadh, is a 250,000 square feet. It is worth around $130 to $200 million. It features Italian marble, silk carpets, gold-plated faucets, and 250 televisions. The palace has multiple kitchens for different cuisines, and even a private 45-seat movie theater. He also owns Kingdom Resort and is building Kingdom Oasis, which will include a private zoo and a 17-acre lake. Waleed also owns some of the world's most luxurious yachts and airplanes. He has the 85.9-meter Kingdom 5KR, which was originally built for Saudi arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi. The yacht was later owned by Donald Trump before Waleed bought it. He also planned a bigger yacht, the New Kingdom 5KR, expected to cost over $500 million. His collection of private jets is equally impressive. He owns a customized Boeing 747, an Airbus A321, and a Hawker Siddeley 125. He was also the first person to buy an Airbus A380 for private use, though he sold it before receiving it. Despite his success, Waleed's journey wasn't without obstacles. On November 4th, 2017, Prince Waleed was among the high-profile figures arrested in Saudi Arabia as part of a so-called corruption crackdown. The operation, carried out by the newly formed Royal Anti-Corruption Committee, was ordered by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. In total, around 320 princes, ministers, and business magnates were detained and held at the opulent Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Riyadh, which was transformed into a makeshift detention center. The arrest of Waleed came as a shock to many, given his international standing, vast wealth, and investments across numerous sectors, including banking, hospitality, and media. Despite his status, he was not immune to the political shifts happening within the kingdom. Although the official narrative was that the arrests were part of an anti-corruption campaign, analysts speculated that the move was also designed to consolidate power for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Waleed, as a grandson of Saudi Arabia's founding monarch, King Ibn Saud, was a significant player in the country's business and political ecosystem. His vast wealth and influence made him a potential rival, or at the very least, a powerful entity that needed to be neutralized. The circumstances surrounding his detention were murky. The Saudi government did not publicly present any formal charges against him, nor did it disclose specific evidence to justify his arrest. Instead, it became apparent that the detained individuals were being pressured into financial settlements in exchange for their release. The negotiations were held behind closed doors, leaving the exact terms unknown. Reports emerged in December of 2017 that the Saudi authorities were demanding an astonishing $6 billion from Waleed in exchange for his freedom. This amount was huge, even by billionaire standards, and raised questions about whether this was truly an anti-corruption effort or merely an attempt to extract wealth from Saudi Arabia's elite. In contrast, his cousin Prince Mutaib bin Abdullah, son of the late King Abdullah, reportedly secured his release by paying a $1 billion settlement. Despite the immense pressure, Waleed initially resisted making a settlement. Unlike some of the other detained businessmen and royals who swiftly negotiated their release, Waleed appeared to hold out longer, which may have contributed to his extended detention. For nearly 3 months, he remained at the Ritz-Carlton, cut off from his usual lifestyle of luxury and business dealings. In January of 2018, Waleed was finally released. Reports suggest that the price of his freedom was indeed around $6 billion, although the exact figure remains undisclosed. While his arrest was arguably the most dramatic challenge he faced, it was not the only battle that had tarnished his public image. Years before the 2017 crackdown, Waleed had been embroiled in a bitter dispute with Forbes over the magazine's valuation of his wealth. This dispute exposed a different set of challenges, those of perception perception, reputation, and financial credibility. Forbes publishes an annual list of the world's billionaires, ranking the wealthiest individuals based on their net worth. Given his vast portfolio and international presence, Waleed was a regular figure on this list. However, he was deeply dissatisfied with how Forbes assessed his fortune, believing the publication consistently undervalued his assets. Carrie Dolan, the editor overseeing the billionaire rankings, detailed the extent to which Waleed appeared obsessed with his standing on the list. According to Dolan, Waleed would go as far as blind copying her on messages sent to influential figures, seemingly to impress her. In 2008, she was invited to Riyadh, where she spent a week touring his palaces, further demonstrating his interest in how he was perceived by the magazine. A major point of contention arose in 2013 when Forbes estimated Waleed's net worth at $20 billion. A figure he strongly disputed. The valuation significantly differed from what he claimed he was worth to be, and he was particularly irked by the fact that the magazine estimate was $7 billion lower than his own calculations. To prove his point, Waleed reportedly sent Kingdom Holdings' chief financial officer, Shadi Sunbar, to New York ahead of the Forbes list's publication to ensure his numbers were reflected accurately. When Forbes didn't budge, Waleed allegedly responded with frustration, at one point calling Dolan nearly in tears over the matter. When it became clear that Forbes would not alter its valuation methodology, Waleed took drastic action. He announced that he would sever ties with the publication and pursue legal action. A statement from his company accused Forbes of not only miscalculating his wealth, but also displaying a bias against Middle Eastern investors. The dispute escalated when Waleed filed a defamation lawsuit in London against Forbes, its editor Randall Lane, and two of its journalists. Forbes, for its part, stood firmly behind its valuation. It was particularly taken aback that Waleed had chosen London as the jurisdiction for the lawsuit, suggesting it was a case of libel tourism. The magazine pointed out that the UK had recently passed a libel reform law aimed at preventing such cases. As of mid-2013, Forbes had yet to be formally served with any legal papers, and the case remained in limbo. Eventually in 2015, the dispute was resolved. Waleed and Forbes issued a joint statement announcing they had settled the matter on mutually agreeable terms. While the specifics of the settlement were not disclosed, one of the factors that played a role was the opening of the Saudi stock market to foreign investors. This allowed Kingdom Holdings' stock price to be taken into greater consideration, thus potentially boosting Waleed's recognized net worth. Away from his challenges, Prince Waleed bin Talal made big impacts through his charity work and philanthropy. For instance, in July 1997, he invested $10 million in the Palestinian Investment and Development Company, and helped start the Jerusalem Development and Investment Company. His generosity also extended far beyond business, as he contributed to many humanitarian efforts. In 2002, he donated $500,000 to fund a scholarship at Phillips Academy in Massachusetts. That same year, he gave $18.5 million to Palestinian families through a TV fundraiser ordered by Saudi King Fahd to support those affected by Israeli operations in the West Bank city of Jenin. In 2004, he donated $17 million to help victims of the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. His biggest act of charity came in July of 2015 when he announced he would donate $32 billion to various causes. He said the money would go toward helping women and young people, disaster relief, fighting diseases, and promoting cultural understanding. This massive pledge cemented his reputation as one of the world's most generous philanthropists. Even during political tension, Waleed continued his charity work. After the 9/11 attacks, he tried to donate $10 million to New York City through then-Mayor Rudy Giuliani. However, his donation was rejected because he suggested that the US should rethink its policies in the Middle East and take a more balanced approach to the Palestinian issue. Giuliani dismissed the donation, saying Waleed's comments were part of the problem. Despite this, Waleed remained committed to helping others worldwide. Waleed also believed in the power of education and cross-cultural understanding. In 2005, he donated $20 million to Georgetown University to establish the Prince Waleed bin Talal Center for Muslim-Christian Understanding. He also gave $16 million to the University of Edinburgh for a center focused on studying Islam and modern society. His donations helped fund similar programs at Harvard University, the University of Cambridge, and the American University in Cairo. Through these contributions, he promoted learning and dialogue between different cultures. In the same vein, Waleed had also also supported social change in Saudi Arabia. He financed the training of Hanadi Zakaria al-Hindi, the first Saudi woman to become a commercial airline pilot. When she received her certification in 2014, it marked a big step for women in Saudi aviation. Al-Waleed's support for women's empowerment showed his commitment to breaking barriers.